Who knows how to
how to
present the
present the
illustration
illustration
report?
report.
Couple of us. Who needs help presenting the illustration report? Even if you're off camera, I need you to raise your hand because I feel it. I feel it. I got these special powers where I can tell if you're raising your hand if you're engaged when you're off camera. Now I'm teasing, but I think the illustration report is so important because that's where you truly close the client. That's where they truly can see the projections of the numbers. That's when you reinforce everything that you talk about when you present to them. You reinforce it with a contract that they're going to have, that they're going to keep forever. That they can say, yeah, you told me this, and this is just reinforcing that message. And I want to empower you and show you how you can use that illustration report to make sure when you close business, that business stays. That there's no chargebacks. So when you do your client reviews, you can always go back and say, this is what I showed you. This is why we're on track. This is what was presented to you. So then you can feel confident with the entire process. Because we talk about client experience. And this part is part of that client experience too. Taking them through that great experience so you can have a client that's satisfied with you so they can introduce you to more people. You guys with me so far? Perfect. I don't got a lot of time, so I'm gonna try to slow down, but I might go faster than usual only because I don't have a lot of time. I might or might not open up the questions. We'll see how it goes. So just a disclaimer, I am not showing you how to structure an IUL today. I am only showing you how to present the illustration report. So if there's a question about why this, why that, about the illustration, I'm not going to answer it because I'm only showing you how to present the illustration report. Now, if you do have questions about why this and why that, stay on afterwards. There's a training about illustrations that you can probably get all those questions answered. But I'm just not going to do that only because of the sake of time. So I'm going to share my screen. So is everybody familiar with this? The Transamerica portal.
Yes, take it away, brother.
Perfect. So in the Transamerica portal, there's something called Transamerica Life Illustration. You'll launch that. And then you can design your illustration. I am going to open one because I already got one design that we're going to use. So after you calculate your illustration, after you design it, there's something over here that says cover page. Does everybody see where it says cover page? I'm taking that as a yes. So when you click on cover page, you will see this. Now, I don't present the illustration report in the software. It just makes it too difficult. I am going to save, where it's right here at the top, it says save enables e-signatures. So I'll click on that. And if you have Adobe, which I recommend you download to your computer, it's free. It's going to automatically open the report in Adobe, as you see. So it makes it easier to navigate and go through the report. Now to the left, you guys see here where it's like a little highlighter. You can click on that. And you can select whatever color you want.
For what?
Today we're going to use whatever this is, a light yellow.
Tomorrow you do it.
And what that does, it allows you to highlight what you want the client to focus on when you're going through the illustration report. So we make this a little bigger. Great job, Adamola. Adamola said, man, we got 25 people on. We need to double this number up, and now we're at 50. Just like that. And that just goes to show you how fast your business can move. You can be like, man, I need to double my income, and just like that, your income can double. Man, I need to double my recruits, and just like that, I can double my recruits. Man, I need to double my production, and just like that, your production can double. You got to stay focused and continue to put out there in existence. So when I get to the illustration report, and let me open it so I can see some of you guys. This is page 1 of the illustration report. Here we go. Page 1, I don't pretty much go over anything. Well, the cover page at least. Then I get to this page. Page 1. I'm gonna make this smaller so the whole page shows. Come on. There we go. All right, give me a second while I move some of this stuff out the way. Man, why is it so jumpy today? There we go. That'll work. Can everyone see this okay? Does anyone need me to make it bigger, or is it all right?
Make it a little bit bigger. It gets a little bit jumpy for some reason.
All right. Just be patient with me. I don't know why sometimes it's jumpy, sometimes not cool. But everyone can see this. So when I present the illustration report, I start with page 1. What I highlight is, hey, Dolores, this particular IUO design is going to give you $250,000 worth of coverage. This is based off $1,000 a month. This IUO plan is going to come with terminal illness, chronic illness, and critical illness riders. What this means is, if you ever became sick, you will have access to money.
Sounds good.
Dolores, also, this is based off of a preferred rating, meaning that you're healthy. And if you ever go through a financial burden where the $1,000 becomes too much, there is a minimum no lapse premium of $122.08 you can pay. This is a flexible premium policy. So there's a minimum and then there's a maximum that you can pay into the policy. Any questions about page 1?
No.
Pretty straightforward, right? Just telling you the coverage, telling you how much it is, talking about the benefits, telling you your rate class, and showing you there's a minimum no lapse.
Right.
So now when I go to page 2, is when I talk about the benefits of the IUO plan. Hey, David, this IUO plan is going to give you life insurance protection. You remember when we talked about protecting your family, how important it is. This is going to give you the protection that your family needs. David, you're also going to have the ability to build cash through index-linked growth. Meaning you're going to be able to use index strategy options to grow cash value. David, you're also going to have tax-free supplemental income opportunities where you can take tax-free loans or withdrawals to use as an emergency fund to supplement your retirement. And also, you're going to be able to have access to riders and living benefits, like I mentioned, in case you became critically, chronically, or terminally ill. What this page does, this just reinforces everything you tell them about in the initial meeting. Because if someone asked you, oh, hey, tell me how IUO plan works. Oh, you know what? It gives you protection on your family. You're going to be able to grow cash value. You're able to pull the money out tax-free, and you'll be able to have access to money if you became sick. So now, when they get to this point of client experience, you're just doing what? Reinforcing everything you're telling them that's documented that they can see. You guys with me so far? You ever try to explain IUO? Right? You tell them all the benefits, you tell them all the features, and they're kind of like, man, it sounds too good to be true. Boom! Read right here. It's documented by a company, and if it wasn't true, they couldn't put it in there because that's called misrepresentation. So that's page 2. Next page.
So this page, I'll start at the bottom first. So then I'll say, Amanda, remember we talked about, remember I was telling you how this plan comes with living benefits. At age 66, if you became critically, chronically, or terminally ill, you have access up to $854,000 to help you with your sickness or illness. You have access to money. So if you became terminally ill, the most you can accelerate is $854,000. For a minor impairment is $805,000. For a critical impairment is $805,000. So that means that if you went to the doctor and the doctor said you have less than 12 months to live, you can have access up to $805,000. Hey, Amanda, currently right now, if you were diagnosed with a terminal illness, where do you have access to money?
Nowhere, right?
So do you see how this can protect you and your family? Yes. Now, Amanda, if you became chronically ill, the death benefit at 66 is $854. The maximum you can accelerate is $205,000. If it's a minor impairment, $155,000. A critical impairment, $177,000. And if anything happens, like I say, at age 67 or beyond, you still have the death benefit that pays out to your family. Now, Amanda, do you see how this gives you peace of mind? If you became chronically ill, you still have access to cash. Because currently, right now, what do you have in place that will give you access to money? Nothing. Now, Amanda, if you became critically ill, heart attack, stroke, cancer, the death benefit at age 66 is $854. The maximum that you can accelerate is $769. Minor impairment, $583. Critical impairment, $644,000 that you have access to. Now, Amanda, protecting your income or replacing your income is important to you, correct? Do you see how this can protect your income?
Now, what did I just do? She just told me yes. So at the end, she can't tell me, oh, you know what? I need to think about it. You know what? I'm not interested. Because she said, yes, this protects my family. This protects my income. Now, after that part, I go here. Amanda, this IUL plan also gives you tax-free access to cash to help you. Oh, Terry, this TikTok video said I can't use this for my retirement, but you can supplement your retirement income. Oops, wrong one. Supplement your retirement income. It says it right there. You can use it for emergency expenses. Oh, you know what, Terry? They told me not to use the IUL plan to send my kids to college. It says it. You can use it for college expenses. And my bad, it's just not working right now, the highlight. Oh, Terry, they told me that I couldn't pull money up from my IUL plan when I wanted to. Yeah, you can also pull it out to go on vacation if you wanted to. Oh, this sounds too good to be true, but it's right there in black and white. Any questions so far? Cool. That's page 4. Now, I'm going to just point out something real quick. Where is that? Actually, I'll do it later. So from here, the next page I show is the numbers.
And
And when I go over the numbers,
I
I just reinforce.
Let me see who else I can pick on real quick.
Mina.
So for $1,000 a month, you're going to start off with $250,000 worth of insurance. Mina, I can get you a lot more insurance for $1,000 a month, but I want to show you how you can get your cash value to grow. This will be an increasing death benefit schedule. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Now, Mina, $1,000 a month. Oops. $1,000 a month is come on, Terrence. Give me a second. This is so slow today. I think with so many people on, when so many people on, it just moves slow. So $1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. So in year one, you would have put $12,000 into this plan. You have a policy value of $10,787. Your cash surrender value, this is the amount of cash you have access to. This column is $4,655. Now, normally in the first year or first couple of years, it's a lower amount because it's building the foundation so you don't have to pay into it later. And Mina, you see how you started off with $250,000, but now the death benefit is $260,000. That's because the policy value is being added to the death benefit. That is what increasing means. Not only does your family get the death benefit, but they get the policy value. They get both. Any questions so far about year one? Now, a couple questions that I get. Sometimes we run illustrations and that cash value says 0. Then the second year it says 0. Hopefully in the third year it doesn't say 0. But if it says 0 in those first 2 years, how you overcome that objection is just saying, in the first couple of years, you won't have any cash value growing because you're building the foundation of the policy so you don't have to pay into it later. But you got to make sure you're not paying into it through the life of it. They got to stop at some point. Because some people can be okay with, all right, I'm not going to grow cash in the beginning, but I can see I can grow cash at the end, and I'm not paying into the rest of my life. But if you're telling me I'm paying into this for the rest of my life, and I don't grow cash in it, I'm going to be like, And be cautious. I'm not telling you how to design it, I'm just telling you how to present it. Be cautious because there are agents out there that will look at this and say, no, this is what they're telling you. They're going to try to bash your illustration. So just be cautious of what you're explaining to them so the client knows. Let me open up the chat, make sure I'm not missing no questions. Chat. Close, not cool. All right. So another question that people ask, well, Terrence, what's the difference between the 3 columns? Is anybody thinking that? Show hands. All right. So your client might ask, well, Terrence, what's the difference between the 3 columns? My first response to you will be, read the illustration report and you will know the difference. But I'll tell you. So the 3 columns, the first one is, this one is guaranteed projections. This column is based off of 0.75% return, meaning every year it's going to return 0.75. They can guarantee that. But if this does 0.75 every year, you know what that means? The stock market is negative every year. And if the stock market is negative every year, we are in the Stone Ages. Everyone's losing money, no matter where you put it. The second column, the non-guaranteed alternative projections, is based off of 3.5% return.
This is saying if you put the money in a fixed account. So you know when you can elect those strategy options, they have a basic fixed account that said if you do 100% in that account, they'll get 3.5% every year, no matter what. And the last one is just non-guaranteed, the closest to pretty much how it's going to perform. And at the bottom of this page, it explains all these columns. Where it says the non-guaranteed projections, where it starts there. It explains what each column means. That's why I say read the report, because it will tell you what everything means. So then from there, I go to year 10. Oops. Give me a second. I'm just trying to shrink this box. Oh, man. My apologies. It's everything is just delaying on my end. I'm trying to move the screen out the way, move this. So then I go to year 10. So who's up next? Oops, I'm sorry. So Karen, in 10 years, you would have put $120,000 into this plan. You have $146,000 worth of policy value and $144,000 worth of cash value you have access to. Now, Karen, if you wanted to take a withdrawal, I want to borrow money. Say you wanted to take a withdrawal of, say, $40,000. You can take out $40,000. You'll have $104,000 left. Let me ask you this question. And this is only if you're compared into 401k, right? Hey, Karen, if you borrowed $44,000 from your 401k, you still got to pay penalties and you got to pay taxes, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And you can still lose your money, whatever's left. But here, you can take out the same $40,000 tax-free penalty and then still have peace of mind knowing that I won't lose whatever's left. Hey, Karen, you know what wealthy people do? They take something that they call loans, where they leverage the insurance company. So you see how you have $396,000 left? Now, let's say I wanted to take a loan of $44,000 or $40,000. I will still take the loan of $40,000. My 396 will go to 356, but my 144,000 will still be in place and growing for me. Now, when it comes to the loan, you can pay it back in 3 ways. 1, you can pay it back with your monthly premiums. 2, you can pay it back later whenever you want to. Or 3, you can never pay it back at all. And if you never pay it back, when you pass, whatever goes to your family, you'll just take it off the top and give the rest to your family. Now, Karen, if you needed $40,000 and you went to the bank to pull out a loan, how soon do they want their money paid back?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. But here, when they talk about creating your own bank, you can say, well, I'll pay it back when I want to, or I'll never pay you back. Now, let's just say, same example. If you took a loan from your 401k, you still have to pay it back.
Yeah.
But here, I have access to money tax-free, penalty-free. And Karen, we can also agree, if there's any emergency that comes up in the next 10 years, currently right now, where do you have access to money if you needed it? Nowhere. But with this plan, you have access up to $144,000. I know it's not a lot of money, but would that be enough to take care of any emergency that might comes up?
Sure would.
And also, Karen, if you got sick, you have access to $396,000 that you can accelerate.
I have a lot of options here.
You do. And can you see how this gives you peace of mind when it comes to protecting your family and
I do.
protecting your income?
I do.
Are you guys catching this? I like explaining it, kind of going through this is what it does for them, this is the benefits of it. So at the end, if they tell me, well, hey, Terrence, well, I'm not interested. So then I can ask, well, what are you not interested in? Is protecting your family no longer important to you? What did I say that had you think, you know what? I do not want to protect my family? Because I established already their 401k isn't going to work for them because that's where most people have the most money. I had them establish that, man, I can go to the bank and get some money, but I got to pay them. I got to pay them back right away. And I established that you have access if you got sick and you have access to cash growth. Now, just an expert when it comes to designing illustrations. You notice in year 10 how this says 120,000 and then the cash value says 144,000. I want to ask you guys this. If someone was presenting this to you, would you want that cash value to be more or less than what you paid into the plan?
More.
More.
Definitely more.
Mhm.
Because when it's more, you're going to think, oh, this plan is working. It's more than what I put in. If it's less, what are they thinking? Oh, this doesn't work. I paid more money than I have access to. Adamola, you was telling me this is compounding interest, but what's compounding? Just bringing awareness. Because think about client experience. What experience do you want them to go through? So that's why I start at 1 and I go to 10. Because if you look from 1 to 10, it's less. It's because of the process. But at 10, just an expert way of designing illustrations, you always want it to be more. Or if not more, at least equal, but never less. So then from year 10, I fast forward to age 65. Before I move on, let me just hop into chat. Let's see if there's any good questions or if everyone's just telling me I'm awesome. I haven't did it out. Should close. Oops. What if they are paying the minimum premium amount and not the max? I'll answer that in a minute. Your growth is based on how you fund it. All right, cool. True. Cool. All right. So let's say they're paying the minimum. Well, if you pay the minimum, I always tell people, if you're paying the least you pay, the less your cash value grow. The more you pay, and the more your cash value grows. And keep in mind, there's flexible premium. So there's a minimum and a maximum and everywhere in between. But normally I try to design this to show them this is how powerful this plan can be. But that's a great question. So when I go to age 65, at age 65, you would have put in 300,000 into this plan. You'll have 663,000 worth of cash value that you can use to supplement your retirement. And you have 913,000 worth of coverage that will pay out to your family if something happens. Now, Theodora, if you put $300,000 in your 401k, do you think you would have 663,000 worth of cash you have access to tax-free during retirement?
No.
No. And also, Theodora, if something happened to you, you became sick, you passed, money that goes to your family from the 401k, they won't penalize it, but you know what they're going to do? Tax it.
Tax it.
So you already established that you can put $300 in your 401k. Something happens, they're going to tax it, and it's not going to be 663. It's going to be a lot less, and your family won't be properly protected. But let's say you wanted to use this for retirement, Theodora. Now you're going to pull out $60,000 a year. And I'm rounding up. $60,000 here. $60,000 here. $60,000 here. And $60,000 here. Oops. I'm going to just let that one go. So in 5 years, five years in retirement, you're pulling out $60,000. And at the end of that 5 years, you still have, all right, sorry, you still have $578,000 left. Is it still sharing? Yeah, cool. All right.
Excuse me? Yeah.
So that's almost $300,000 that you took out. Remind you, you put in $300,000. You almost took out $300,000 and got $578,000 left.
Mhm.
Hey, Theodora, did you know what most people in their 401k, when they pull out money and they run out, they run out? Here,
I do.
Here you almost pulled out everything you put in. You still got $500,000 left. Now let's continue. Because that's just the first 5 years of retirement. And I want to take you all the way down to age 85. At age 85, Theodora, what's 300,000 plus 885,000?
300,000. It's one.
Like 1.1 million, right?
Yeah.
So did you know you took out 885,000, but they call it first in, first out. So you would have pulled out your $300,000 first, and then an additional 885,000, you would have pulled out $1.1 million for your retirement tax free.
Wow.
And at age 85, if something happens to you, 105,000 still pays out to your family.
Interesting.
And mind you, Theodora, you stopped paying into this at age 65.
Mhm.
Now,
That's great.
so Theodora, knowing that this plan can properly protect your family, give you peace of mind, or if something happens, money's going to pay out. Knowing if you got sick, you had access to money. And also know that the cash value that's growing, you can help supplement your retirement on top of anything else you might have in place. Now, Theodora, knowing that this can protect your family by protecting your income replacement, and help you supplement your retirement, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to see if you qualify for this plan?
No.
Before we start the qualification process, what questions do you have?
I would just want to know what are the qualifications for this account.
The qualifications is you have to have an agent named Terrence Tillman, because he'll do the best job for you. No, I'm joking. No, but then the qualification be like, hey, you just got to make sure that you're healthy, that there's no health complications. You don't take you can take medication, but everything's controlled. But we can start the process. And Theodora, because I work with so many companies, if I can't get you approved with one company, I guarantee I can get you approved with another one.
You see your beautiful wife, you're nodding your head.
It might
What
take
did
a
I
longer
do?
process. If that's the case, just be patient with me.
My food ready?
Okay.
We're cooking the rice. I'm
So at
gonna
this point, I close.
add stew.
Now, depending on any other questions they might ask me, is going to be depending on what I might else share with them. Because keep in mind, they still have to sign this report. That's why I go through it with them. Because when you deliver the policy, they have to sign this. And if you never showed them this, because in a DocuSign, it kind of goes and people click, 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 and click, and never don't know what they're signing. But if you sell them something that's not designed to meet their expectations, in my opinion, and they sign it, it just is going to be bad for the client. Now, when it comes to strategy options, because somebody might ask, well, what strategy options do you pick? So I'll go down here. And I'm almost done because I'll open it up to questions if any. Because I know I got to be done in like 10 minutes. So here, this page, this is like page 27-ish, around there. So this page, let me kind of move this out the way too. Because people might ask me too, hey, Terrence, why do you pick the strategy options you pick? And to explain you guys why, there is the global index. The global index has a cap rate of 13.25%. That means if the market does 20, you get 13.25. If it does negative 20, you have a 0.05 floor. So for example, this year was negative, you got 0.05. This year was negative, you got 0.05. The next year was up, you got 13.25. And when you look at the last 25 years, the average is 8.24%. And when I explain to the client, if I explain this to him, you know, the numbers I showed you was based off a 7% return. And this strategy is doing 8. So that means the numbers can actually be higher. Now, for those of you who are wondering why I picked global over the S&P 500, this is why. The S&P 500 gives you a cap rate of 12.25. If you had to pick, which one would you pick? The one at 13 or the one at 12? I'm not telling you what to pick. I'm just telling you I picked the one that's higher. And when you look at the 25-year average, it's 8.14. You can't go wrong with either one, but I'll always pick the global. And I'll tell you another reason why in a minute. And to be honest, as of late, I have used the balance uncapped because they have a participation rate of 113%. They don't show this one anymore. They used to, but it was like double digits over the last 25 years. And how they calculate that is they say, well, if we had this in place during this time period, this is what it would have done. But it outperformed both. They just can't show it because of compliance reasons. But another reason why I pick the global over the S&P, if I had to pick one or the two, is this reason. The global, 50% of the global is the S&P. But I just get another 30% of the euro, and I get another 20% of the Nikkei. And how Transamerica works, it takes the highest of the two and gives a return. And plus, on my annual reviews that I do on my global the one client I just
Looking at the Customs Act 2026, it incorporates all the amendments that have been done over the years into one single document. So it codifies all the customs acts into this document. It makes it simpler to administer. Seal the loop. That's made.
Because this can be beneficial to like a cousin of yours, a family member, some coworkers, right? You know, other people that will want to do something like this. What if I was to show you how you can help someone do something like this, and you can go make $1,000? You don't even got to do anything; just introduce them to me. Would that be beneficial for you? Perfect. Well, before we do that, let's continue to get you qualified first, and then we'll talk about you making some additional income. And for those of you who always wondered, well, where do they get points from? TP is the points that how they calculate commissions. So I am going to stop there, and I'm gonna dive into the chat and ask as I do that. Was this helpful? Was this bring more clarity about the illustration report?
Yes.
Much value, TT. A lot of value.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Got it.
Wow, Terrence, well done. Wow.
And kind of to answer some of the questions in the chat, prior to the illustration, what were the page numbers that were reviewed? When there's a cover page, and then there's page 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you get to the numbers. Is from the numbers down is going to vary because it depends on how long the numbers pages are. But this is your homework. Go run an illustration report example and then read it. So then you'll know exactly where everything is. Because when you're meeting with a client and the client says, well, hey, tell me about this, you need to know where it's at. Because I shared my story before about how I met with a client. He read it. He asked me questions about the report, and I didn't know where it's at. And he said, Terrence, I like you. I need you to go back and read this and then come back to me. And I was able to help him. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to try to close a client on something that's in a report and you don't know where it's at. And then it said, why wouldn't we go through the so the entire policy, why we won't go through all of it, a lot of it is just definitions. I just kind of go over the numbers, the benefits, and then the rest of it is just definitions explaining exactly what the report does. Now, there is a portion of the report that kind of goes the breakdowns of living benefits, but I go through that when I talk about a term first. Because more likely than none, I talk about a term policy before I talk about an IUL to kind of go more in detail about living benefits. Now, for example, if they wanted to know more about living benefits in this illustration report, and I'm gonna kind of see, remember this is the page you have to sign. That's the page they got to sign. So that's why I kind of try to go through all. And right when you get here, it breaks down like how living benefits works. The next page breaks down the percentages and payout. So like I said, it's a great read to kind of break down because each one is unique and different. Let's see. Does the customer's age determine how long? Yes and no. Ideally, I like to show people paying until 65. Rule of thumb, 20 to 30 years is a target where I want people to kind of pay into it. You can pay into it a lot less too if you depend on how you fund it. Because the illustration I just showed you, you can probably design it to where they're paying for 10 years and stop. But the cash won't grow. So it depends on their expectation of what they want from it. But it can be designed because each design is going to be different from each person. Now, if you're talking to someone that says, well, I can't afford $1,000 a month, they can probably pay longer and pay a lower amount. But it's going to vary from client to client. Can you explain line age 80 again regarding distribution amounts? Line 80. All right, so let me see. Do I have time to go back to line 80? Let's see. Now, there was a question about cap, rate, and floor. I'll explain that another time, but I say if you read the illustration report, there is a definition that talks about what's the cap being, the rate, am I right on that page? Cap, ending date, basic accounts, like definitions. Like I said, read it. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Non-guarantee projections, class. It tells you everything you need to know about the illustration report, the difference. But I would love to go more in depth, but just because of time, I kind of don't want to dive too deep into cap. But pretty much while I look for that line, but cap just means that's the most that they can earn, and rate is in participation rate is that kind of gets kind of technical. Was this line 80? Or that's the one you're talking about, Karen? Age 80 or line 80?
It's age 80 in the tabular detail.
Oh, is
It's
oh,
the last, the last year that they took a distribution. I just don't have a clearer understanding of those other columns.
all right. At age 80, which column?
Like, okay, so um, okay, so you see, they took out 885,000. Then under the policy value, okay, so what is that amount? That is, tell me what that value represents.
So this value right here, the 1 million,
Yeah,
that's what the policy is worth.
okay,
For-
at that
for-
point in time, right? At that point in time.
But this is just saying if they didn't take out any loans, the policy would be worth $1 million.
Okay.
But
Okay,
that's
if they
not
didn't
saying
take
that
out
was
any.
going to go. Yeah, because remind you, you're taking out money.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out the correlation between the two.
Yeah, that just says if you didn't take out anything, that's how much will be the policy ideally worth.
I got you.
Cool.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
Now you're welcome. What's the difference between participation rate and cap rate and floor? I kind of talked about that. Participation rate is going to time the interest earned. I won't get too deep because that's more technical. Cap is the most you can make. The floor is the least you can make. Transamerica has a floor of 0.75. But like I said in the illustration report, it kind of breaks that down. Please, can we have the recording? That I don't decide that. What about using the balanced uncapped option? Yeah, that's what I use. You can. Oh, at what point do you explain the illustration for your client? That's a great question. After the FNA. So I do the FNA, and then the FNA, the next steps. So if I can show you some options that can help you and your family protect itself, whatever I say, yes, cool. Then I go into the illustration report. Now let's just say they don't give me the information and I don't do the FNA. Then I'll just do I'll just run the numbers. And then let me see after the FNA. Oh, cool. Could we start with getting them out of debt first so they can afford the policy? Absolutely. Absolutely. And also when it comes to affording the policy, that's why we do the financial needs analysis. Because if someone can do $25 a month into an IUL, I can design it based off that. And so just to kind of give you some insight, why I was comparing it to their 401k? I was asking questions about a 401k. Because then I can say you can stop contributing to your 401k and reallocate it here to design it to supplement your retirement. Because then we can take their 401k and move it to an index annuity. So then they have money growing in the index annuity and money growing in the IUL. But if I strictly design the IUL for insurance, ideally they can pay $100 a month until it didn't design it that way. But every person is going to be different and unique. But I am over time by a minute, so I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna pass it back to Amanda. If you guys do got questions for me that I didn't answer, hop on in 2 weeks. Hop on in 2 weeks and I'll answer your questions then. Because hopefully we won't get cut short then. But yeah, but if you do got questions and it's burning, it's like, Terrence, I really need to answer this question. Shoot me like a message or like WhatsApp or something, and I'll get back to you whenever I can. Because that's what a lot of people do, and I don't mind. But thank you guys again. I'm gonna be quiet because I do gotta run myself, and I know that we are about to be out of time. But thank you guys.
Thank you, T.
Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Always
you. Thank you.
delivering.
Thank you,
Thank you
Terrence.
so much.
Terrence.
Awesome and
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Terrence.
All right. Listen, thank all of you. I appreciate you.